The Texas Builders Construction was hired by the Water Management Department to renovate the storage room on the basement of the pump station building. According to the contract between the Water Management Department as the client and the Texas Builders Construction as the contractor, this project included the replacement of the existing shelves, tiles, doors, and painting the walls according to plans and drawings. When the hot work operators were working in the storage room, a fire incident occurred and resulted in damages inside the storage, including the buckling of these two columns. But after the fire, other damages to the equipment inside the pump station also were observed and led to a disagreement between the FP Insurance Group, which was the insurer of the pump station, and the Texas Builders Construction. The FP Insurance Group holds the contractor not only liable for buckling of these two columns inside the storage, but also for the pump shaft breakage on the ground floor, the pipe breakage in the pipe room next to the storage room on the basement, and also for settlement of these two foundations, as you can see in this model. Today, I'm representing the Texas Builders Construction, which is a defendant in this case, to present its defense and to respond to FP Insurance claim as a plaintiff. To help you better understand our argument, let me give you a quick introduction to the pump station building. The pump station building, as you see in this model, is a two-story building including a basement and a ground floor. This green plane represents the ground level. On the basement, we have two separate areas. This one is the storage room, the place where the fire incident occurred. And this one is the pipe room. And on the ground floor, we have an office area, and next to the office area, we have a pump station where two pumps were operating in the time of the incident. The fire incident occurred inside the storage room on the basement. According to the NFPA 51B, which is the standard for fire prevention during welding, cutting, and other hot works, is a permit required area. So our hot work operators or our welders had received the hot work permit from the client before starting the welding. Here is the hot work permit that the contractor received from the client prior to starting the welding operation inside the storage room. The issuance of the permit indicated that the area is ready and safe for the welding, which is a hot work operation, because according to the standard, the client had to make the storage free and clear from any kind of combustible materials. However, unexpectedly, when the welders started working, these shelves that you see in the model were not left the room yet, and these four that I'm highlighting, this one and also this one, were still full of content, as you see in this picture. This is the picture which was taken by the contractor before starting the work. When the fire started, the welders realized that despite the standard obligations, there were some containers of flammable liquids stored in the shelves, which added to the intensity of the fire. If there weren't these containers, the welders might be able to extinguish the fire and prevent further damages. In addition to the existence of the flammable liquid in the room, the other issue out of a contractor's control, which delayed the firefighting process, was the accessibility of the storage room from the outside. Let's look at the building using the model. The pump station building, it has two entrances from the outside environment to the building. One is here in this side, and the next one, as you see in the model, is this one in this side of the building. And the storage room and the pipe room on the basement can be accessed through these two staircases, which connect the office area on the ground floor to the storage room, and the pump room on the ground floor to the pipe room on the basement. In the time of the fire incident, the firefighters had to use this door to make their way to the storage room through the office area. Since the building was under operation in the time of the incident, as you see in the model, the office area was occupied by the furniture and consequently slowed down the firefighting process, which led to more damages to the building. Eventually, in spite of all drawbacks in the firefighting process, the fire extinguished in 70 minutes, and by exposure to fire for 70 minutes, these two columns in the storage room, this one and this one, were buckled, unfortunately. The FP insurance claims that the Texas Builders Construction is also liable for all damages outside the storage, in addition to the inside the room, because they are the consequences of the buckling of these two columns. So to respond this claim, we have investigated the compliance of these two columns with fire resistance standards. As you see, according to the standard, the minimum period of fire resistance in the non-sprinklered basement of the industrial buildings is 90 minutes when the depth of the basement is not more than 10 meters, which is the case here. Whereas the columns in the storage room were buckled in less than 70 minutes, as I explained before, indicating that the columns didn't have enough fire protection and didn't comply with the relevant standards. So to summarize the presentation, the Texas Builders Construction as a contractor in the renovation project of the pump station doesn't accept its liability for damages outside the storage, including the pump shaft breakage, the pipe breakage, and the foundation settlements. Because firstly, not only the client hadn't removed the shelves from the storage, which contradicts the contract, but also issued the permission for the welding while there were containers of the combustible materials in the shelf, against the obligation of the standard for fire prevention during welding, cutting, and other hot work, which added to the intensity of the fire. Next, caused by the accessibility problem to the incident area, which was also out of contractor's control, the firefighting process took longer than expected and caused more damages. In spite of these two issues, still a contractor accepts to compensate damages inside the storage room, but not damages to the equipment outside the room, even though the FP insurance claims that they are caused by the buckling of the columns inside the storage. Because, as I explained during the presentation, these two columns didn't resist the fire as much as they were prescribed in the standard, indicating that they didn't meet the standard requirements. Thank you very much for your time and attention to my presentation.